What's up, New York? We're here at the Sauce Conference 2023. I just gave a talk on the lost art of listening. Check it out. I was invited to speak, and I was asked to speak on the theme of empathy and customer centricity, about how to build meaningful connections with people. It got me to think about this a lot. And I want to get a little meta with you today. I also just want to tell you, I hate public speaking. And here I am as a public speaker. What I really like to do is to have conversations with people. So I'm going to hijack the format of a talk and just turn it into a slightly interactive conversation. And here's something else, if you know me, I love making slides, and I'm known to make like 278 slides for a 30-minute talk. So today, it's just kind of a very unusual thing. I made 17 slides, and I've given up control of my presentation. I sent the event organizers PNGs. I know, it's like live dangerously and everything. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about the lost art of listening, a dialogue on deliberate discovery. And I use ChatGPT to help me do that, because I don't know how to write titles for my own talks. But I was really thinking about this idea about dialogue and conversation, because oftentimes we up here, we want to do well, we want to give you lots of information, but I think we just talk right above you. And I want to try to pull you into this conversation. And first, I'm going to share a story with you. It's a Karen story. I know, right? But it's not that kind of Karen. She's actually named Karen, and she's a former student of mine, and she wanted to study under me, my protege, if you will. And Karen was getting into this really frustrated state, and she goes, and she was an illustrator, and she goes, Chris, how do I charge the kind of money that you're able to get? Because it's really frustrating to go out there and time after time present your price to people and then get knocked down. And I wanted to challenge her about something. I said, so what is it that you think that allows me to command the kind of price that I do versus what you're able to do? She was clearly, because you have all the credentials. Like what? Tell me what the credentials are. Well, you have awards. Well, you've graduated. I'm still a student. You have this body of work, and you have all these logos, and you have this portfolio. I said, okay, well, I'd like to challenge your logic here. You guys are following the story, right? And maybe you've been there yourself, where you look at a company that's bigger than you, in whatever category that you're in, you're like, I wish I had what they had. That's the thing that's holding me back from achieving success. Makes sense. So let's try something here. Why don't we switch portfolios? I'll give you my portfolio. I'll take yours. And let's go and present to the same client. What do you imagine would happen? Would you be able to then say that you could command the price? What do you think? What do you think she said? No. So then she's like, well, but you have all this experience. I said, well, how does one communicate to somebody else that they have experience? What is it that they're doing or not doing? I'm just curious what you think the answer to that question is. Listening? Okay, that's a good guess. Who else? Confidence. Tell me more about confidence. Where are you? The light's like right in my eye. If I look right at it, I'm going to have a migraine. Okay, go ahead. Confidence. Tell me about this confidence thing that you talk about.
I think it's like speaking confidently about your product or about whatever it is. And so that makes you seem like more of an expert, more like you know what you're talking about.
This is perfect. Well, this is wonderful. What is your name?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne is saying, if you speak confident about what you're doing, that people will see you as an expert, as an authority, and you'll be able to do this. Are you a confident speaker, Cheyenne?
Oh, yeah.
You are. She answered that like a confident person, by the way. Now, I've done this before. Yeah, woo! Good job. I've done this before, and they're like, I am? And I'm like, no, you're not. I can tell. Okay, so here's the problem. We want to be able to command higher prices. We want to be able to be seen as an authority, not be negotiated down, so we have to have confidence. But how do you get that confidence if you don't have the experience? It seems like a horrible way to get into a catch-22. It's like we've designed an internal belief that sets us up for failure. So I'm going to throw this question out to you, okay? And if you are part of my community, or if you've seen me do this before, please refrain from throwing out the answer. And if my wife was in the room, that message would be specifically for her. Because she'd raise up her hand and say, I have the answer. Babe, we went through this 10 times already. She goes, but I want to say it. You cannot say it. You're not allowed to. Okay, so anybody who already knows where this goes, please don't ruin for everybody else in the room. It's kind of like a trick. So what is more valuable? And I really do want to have everybody shout out an answer, okay? I just want you to think about it. What is more valuable, questions or answers? Okay, this is very interesting. My bionic ear tells me about 80% of the room says questions, and about 20%, usually the dark corner over here, says answers. I don't know if there's a connection. So is that about right? Did you guys hear about that, 80-20? The Pareto principle at play here. So 80% says questions, 20% said answers. So I'm gonna lean towards the majority here for a second, so you guys just sit tight for me, all right? The people here who said questions, why do you believe questions are more valuable? I'm just curious. Okay, one person at a time. Oh, I heard a man's voice over here. Is that James?
It is.
Hi, James. I just learned your name, see?
Because you learn more from questions.
You learn more from questions. That's an excellent answer. Somebody else. Hold on. Questions frame the answer. There's some really smart people here. Damn. Is it New Yorkers or what?
People like talking about themselves.
They do. So weird. Okay, so answer people. They're going to be over here. I have already identified the answer people over here, okay? So answer people, why did you say answers?
I think it's because of the pursuit of the answer was what actually makes you learn, that you become curious to actually seek the truth into something, so I think that's why I find answers more valuable.
I have to handle this carefully here, how I treat you, right? Everybody knows who I'm talking to, right? Normally, I would just abuse whoever's about to say it. But here's like, you're probably right. And you're really good looking, may I say? Okay, look at this, okay? I just want to put yourself in this scenario. You're a sought after expert, fill in the category, whatever industry that you're in. And somebody comes up to you and asks you a question. Throw a question at me, please. No, not Alex. You're not allowed to. Yes, please. We'll stay.
I'm deep into this now.
What's that?
I'm saying I'm deep into this exercise now, so what's the question? Okay.
Just ask me.
What's more valuable to you, a question or an answer?
That's pretty good. I have to say, somebody should make him a CEO or something. You know what I mean? This guy's all right. You're now falling for all my traps, and this is making me upset right now. Okay, just ask me like a regular question you would want to ask a consultant or advisor.
How can I improve my business?
Okay, how can I improve my business? What?
For example.
How can I improve my business? Okay, so we're going to evaluate what's about to come out of my mouth next. Do you think someone would pay more for the answer to that question or pay more for another question back at them? I'm just curious now, just to check with us before I move on. Why is that? The question people are stubborn. They're so stubborn. They don't even know that there's a setup here. So go ahead. Somebody who's really articulate, charming, really good looking. Look at everybody's hands goes up. Somebody who hasn't spoken yet, right? Okay.
I mean, look at the evidence. People pay for coaches, not to give them answers, but to ask the right questions so they can be introspective and find the answers in.
This is perfect. Have you hired, no, keep the mic. Woo! Okay. Have you hired a coach or a consultant before?
Yes.
And when you pay them a lot of money, you ask them questions and they ask you back questions, do you feel great?
I mean, it helps you understand the situation more. The answers often are things that they can just tell you because you're in a unique situation.
But you didn't answer my question. You feel great. You're feeling like lots of value.
And how does that make you feel?
I thought I was gonna like you guys. I'm leaving New York after this. I'm gonna go back to the West Coast, the best coast, soon. What's that? Say it one more time. Sometimes you do, right? I do too.
I pay big money for just,
Yeah, sometimes. Right, time is money. My time is valuable. Don't drag this out for 17 conversations and consultations. I feel like you're milking me right now. Sometimes that is, okay. So watch this, everybody. The 80% of you, are you still convinced that questions are more valuable than answers? Yes? Say yes. Yes. Somebody just changed their mind. I like that. Okay. So I'm just curious, if questions are more valuable than answers, why did you answer a question with an answer? See, I have a theory on this. Now this room went silent. I told you it's going to be a trick question. I warned you, okay? I feel that because of the way we're socialized, the way we're educated, is we're compelled to give the answers. Now, I went to public school myself, but I remember what it was like to be in public school. So when the teacher asked us a question, whoever was the fastest to raise their hand who shoot out the answer correctly was going to be prized, the teacher's pet. They were going to get the A or the A+. We know that. So if you're also like a person like myself who's really shy and just full of self-doubt, it's like, I think I have the answer, but I'm just going to be quiet. I would rather not give the wrong answer or be humiliated, and I'll just keep quiet. So I think we're rewarded in our society, at least Western society, for answers. And so when somebody asks you a question, you're almost compelled to give them the answer, versus taking a moment to stop and think. So this is the point in which I'm going to go to slide number 3 of 17. And I'm going to tell you, there's this wonderful book written by Michael Bungay-Stanier, who I had the privilege to interview. And it's a book called The Coaching Habit. It's his best book. So if you're going to read a book for MBS, read this book. And it's a wonderful framework for just asking questions. And he makes a really strong point as to why we should ask more questions. Because when we do so, we're slower to give answers and we stay curious for a little bit longer. We empower the other person to think through the problem. And we actually solve one of the biggest problems that if you're a manager or a leader of people, we solve that problem in that we don't become the bottleneck for all decision making. And that's something I think we would want to pursue. So we empower people, we take things off of our plate, and it feels really good to do that. So they become more confident, more resourceful, and to be able to do whatever it is they want. So I'm that kind of annoying friend when you ask me questions, especially if it's not clear, you're gonna get more questions back from me. So I think it's worthwhile to see if we can understand how to ask good questions, because not all questions are created equally. They don't all hold the same amount of value. So this is the part where I try to do this whiteboard thing. It's tiny, but I like to write and draw. We'll work with this, okay? So I just want to ask you all, okay, we like questions. I think questions empower people, they're helpful. And if we want to build meaningful connections with our audience, our community, our users, our friends, our peers, our boss, our employees, our partners in life, our lovers, maybe we should get better at asking questions. Because as it's been pointed out very astutely, people care about themselves. And it's a good thing, because at least I know one thing. I don't know a lot, but I do know people want to talk about themselves. And as a shy, introverted person, that makes it my job a lot easier, because I don't have to say anything. All I have to do is find a good question to ask you. So there's something I like to do. And this is an audience participation thing here, which is I like to use these sliders. So if we use sliders like this, maybe we can define a few attributes on one end of the spectrum versus the other and see where we net out. So can somebody just throw out one attribute of a really good question or maybe a really bad question, and we'll work with that.
Open-ended.
Open-ended, okay. Are we okay with that? Open-ended is good? Okay, I like that too. Now, what is the opposite of open-ended? Please don't say close-ended. Because that's easy, right? We can say that. We're smart people. Well, some of us are smart, okay? Maybe you can help me out. The people who went to school to read better or whatever the Zoolander joke is. Okay, who's got the answer? I'm self-conscious my skirt's gonna fall off here. Sorry, I'm fidgeting with it. Yes?
A yes or no question.
Okay, what do we call that?
A closed question.
Binary.
Leading? Okay, that's another one, but I'm gonna say leading on here. But the opposite of an open-ended question is a binary question. I think that's yes or no. Okay. We're gonna alley-oop across the aisle here. I love it too. Okay. So, binary. Okay. So what's the opposite of a leading question? And do we understand what a leading question is? What is an example of a leading question?
Tell me why you think the future's awesome.
This guy's really smart. He can't have all the answers. He's like, tell me why you think the future is awesome, right? I would usually define a leading question, almost every question my wife asks me, right? Do you want to eat Chinese food? I'm like, yes. Will I get in trouble if I say no? Do you want to take out the trash? I'm like, yes, that's binary and leading. I'm trapped. You see why I took some time off home and just traveled? Okay. So the opposite of leading is what?
Closing.
Okay, what? Unbiased. I think we're getting really close now because we think that leading questions have an agenda. So if it's unbiased, that's pretty good. I like that. Does anybody have a better like $6 word for unbiased? Neutral, impartial. I like that. Is that better than unbiased? I like it better. Damn, this is a good group. Okay. I forget, I've done this in Europe before and it's much more difficult. English and, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're talking about neutral. You all European? Damn, Europeans are so smart, you know what I mean? Well, the smart ones come to New York, I think, to attend a conference, right? To learn stuff. So yeah, I'm sorry, everybody's European, aren't they? Learn thy audience. Okay, neutral, I like that. Okay, can we come up with maybe like 2 more? I think you're getting this game, right?
Clear.
Clear, clear. Okay, is clear good?
Direct.
Direct, clear and direct. Okay, I think we have a combo there. Clear and direct. Getting nervous on time here. Okay, clear and direct. What do you think the opposite of that might be? Ambiguous. I like that too. Okay. Ambiguous. We're just trucking along now. This is wonderful. Maybe you're less afraid to throw things out now. Let's do one more. Bias? Bias? I think we have bias in leading. So I'll add biased here. Okay. What's that?
Hypothetical.
Like, what do you mean hypothetical?
If you're doing a job interview, you want to make sure that you're getting the point of thought.
Oh. Okay. I think I would just say like hypotheticals maybe an open-ended, like asking you to think through the problem. Okay, go ahead.
Trick question?
A trick question? What kind of bastard to come on stage and ask you a trick question? Somebody really mean-spirited, I think. No, I mean, okay, all the way in the back over there.
Oh.
Rhetorical? Is that good or bad? I get where you're going with this, Chris. All right. I don't know rhetorical. Let me just think about that a little bit.
Long-winded?
Long-winded. Okay, I like that. Okay, long-winded. So what's another word for long-winded?
Concise, clear, and direct.
Long-winded, maybe complicated? Loaded. Okay. Okay. Loaded. Long-winded. And complex. So probably on the other side is concise. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good. We can probably spend some time and really diagram this out, but I realize I have 11 minutes left. So we're not. Okay, do you think this is a pretty decent roadmap for what we might be able to do? In terms of like, if we desired to be more curious and to empower other people, that we might ask questions that are more open-ended, that are neutral without biases, that are clear and direct versus ambiguous, and that are concise. Okay. I found out this recently. When you're designing a workshop, you should ask really clear questions that are concise, but have infinite number of answers, so that each person can come to the table and give you what they're supposed to give you, versus you leading them down the path. Okay, so I'm just curious now. Can somebody ask me a question? I'm looking for a really good question. A big question, a question that might make this whole trip to New York City like worth it for you, because I endeavored to give you value. I know you're taking time away from whatever it is you were doing, your to-do list, your children, sometimes. And you're here, so you want to walk away with something, yeah? So I would like to see if somebody's got a good question. Maybe we can work on it together. Is it James? All right, hold on. All right, James.
What's the best question you've ever been asked?
Shiznit. No, not one of those questions. Don't try and trick me here. I'm the trickster. All right? No, really. I mean, if you wanted to like have $10,000 worth of consulting services right now, what is that question? What would change your life and your business in a profound way? James, you want to reframe? Otherwise, I'm going to pass it right up here.
Trying to grow my business, would it be best to grow a personal brand or focus on the business brand?
Okay. Could you ask that as a question? Please.
Should I focus on my personal brand versus my business?
Okay. Should he focus on his personal brand or his business, corporate brand? What's wrong with that question? Oh, you guys are too smart. She's on you right now. Is that Rashid?
It is.
Oh my God, I'm like, I recognize you. Okay, I didn't know you were gonna be here. Okay, so you wanna take another shot? Because the problem with the binary question is I'll just say personal, and your question is done. And if Aladdin were to, or the genie were to present you 3 wishes, and that was one, you'd be kicking yourself in the butt right now. Okay. And I'm a stickler and very passionate about questions and really good questions, because really good questions frame the problem and are like 50% of the answer. Somebody else? We're running out of time. Okay, try it, please. Good to see you, Ben.
What would be the number one thing you'd recommend someone work on to update their personal brand?
Do we like that question? The number one thing that a person needs to do to update their personal brand.
Or what's the number one thing that you say that you've noticed first?
Okay, I like where this is going. Why don't you take a minute or 10 seconds to think through that question and frame it the way that is going to give you the most value. Go ahead. Yes, I do want you to. That was not a rhetorical question. Yeah, I get you.
Okay, so what is the number one thing you suggest for someone to elevate their personal brand? Is that better?
It's perfect. The fact that you just asked it is perfect for me. Okay, wait, she needs the mic. It's interactive. Yeah, okay. Did everybody hear the question? What is the number one thing you suggest to elevate your personal brand? I think this will hit a lot of people in this room if you want to elevate your personal brand. Does anybody want to elevate their personal brand? Wonderful. Yay, yay. All right, so it's a good question. It's going to involve a lot of people here. I just, am I literally off stage in 626? It's okay? Okay, the man says it's okay. So I will try to honor this as best as I can, but I'm starting to feel like really nervous right now. Okay, what is the number one thing that you can suggest to elevate your personal brand? What is a challenge for you right now about elevating your personal brand? What's getting in the way?
So for me, I'm a content creator on the side, both on LinkedIn and Instagram, and I'm working to try and grow both those platforms. And I think as someone who never went to school, never really went to any programs for social media in that sense, my biggest problem is kind of getting my name out there, being able to do more speaking engagements, and just kind of grow more as like my own brand.
Okay, can I ask you to speak in bullet point? Because I can't write all that.
Yeah.
Help me out. So I will rephrase, and then you say yes or no. And if I don't rephrase correctly, say no. Do not accept it, okay? Okay, low engagement?
Low engagement.
Okay, that's good. Specifically on Instagram, okay. Okay, perfect. What else? And I'm sorry, can you tell me what low engagement means?
Low engagement means I want to get to 5K, just personal.
5K followers? Okay, and where are you at right now?
3.5.
Oh, you're within striking distance. Okay, and how long have you been? Okay, so 3.5, you want to go to 5? Okay, this is excellent. And how long have you been doing this, 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 years. So you kind of hit some kind of peak and now it sucks.
Exactly.
All right, because they broke the algorithm. Yeah, I know. I hear you. I feel your pain. Okay, engage, low engagement, low growth. Okay, anything else? What are the problems here? For you specifically?
For me also is just grow confidence, I think is one, just generally in terms of
Bullet point, please.
confidence. And then get to more speaking engagements.
More speaking engagements? That seems like another goal, but okay, we'll put there.
I think for me it's all as a brand, just like.
Let's focus on Instagram for a second here. About if I just volunteered my time to help you later today to get you to 3.5 to 5, 1,500, which I don't think is that hard. What is it that you need help with? You're stuck because low engagement. Why do you think that is?
I think I have a very niche audience, and it's.
You have a niche audience?
Yeah.
Okay. You think that's why?
Maybe.
Okay, you're not sure. That's fine. That's fair to say, and I appreciate the honesty. What else? Now, many people in this room probably have a similar problem, just different numbers, right? If you're trying to grow on Instagram or TikTok or one of these platforms, what else? You should help her out here. Let's phone our friends. We have a lot of friends in the room. What else? Say it one more time. What does that mean? Oh, don't know what to post? Is that okay? Okay. No, I don't want sure. I want yes, baby. That's it. No? So give me another. Tell me what. Different direction? What does that mean?
Lack of focus.
Lack of focus? You like that? Okay. ADHD? I'm cruel. I'm sorry. You can cancel me later. Okay. Somebody else.
Consistency?
Consistency. Gosh darn it. Did you just feel that? Oh my God. She couldn't even get the word consistency. Oh my God. I feel it.
I was going to say the same exact thing.
Oh my God. A lot of people are going to feel it. Consistency. Okay. This is good. We should turn this into social media marketing, content branding. Okay. All right. Let's one more. Somebody had something to say. Hold on. I'm just pointing this way. So if you're not like in that general direction, yes.
Maybe her content is not something people want to see because it's not entertaining, humor, whatever.
Did you bring your mom here? We have to speak about what we're struggling with. There's a whole lot of judgment, violent words that were just used. You just triggered 45 people in the room, like, you know, I'm trying to get value here. No, let's have her one more try, please. In the spirit of generosity, nonviolent communication, non-judging language, just about what you feel. What did I need help with? What was my problem? I don't disagree with you, but let's just, go ahead. Your content's not entertaining? Okay, she can't help herself. Okay, we 2 strikes, we're out. Okay, we'll just move it on. Let's move it on somewhere else. It has to have value. So you're like putting out low value crap. Is that what you're saying? Yes? Why would you do that? But it's true. It is true. Okay, low value. So you don't know what high value is then. Is that the problem? That's what I heard in this room. We lost all our ability to speak and use words. So we'll just say like low value. Okay. This is pretty good. I think I have to stop on this part and show you something else. Okay. Now, if you're paying attention and you're taking in all the meta layers, you're probably starting to figure out what the hell I'm doing up here. Have I given any answers yet? And what am I doing right now? I'm asking questions literally, but what am I doing for you besides wasting your time? What's that? Yes, I'm making you think through, or I'm encouraging you to think through it. Because a lot of times we come into a problem and we ourselves haven't thought through it. And if you're a client, you do this all the time because you're so busy. Solve this. I need a new website. I need a new marketing funnel. I need a new marketing campaign. And then the agency, the vendors say, okay, we're ready to go because we're trained to answer questions and move forward. And this is a very pricey lesson I've learned the first couple of years of my business. We would pitch new business. The clients would say 2 words. I'm like, I'm ready to go. And we would just take ideas and just throw it at the client one after the other as if it was some kind of moral victory to just to wear them down with ideas that were completely irrelevant to what they wanted. So my business coach, he taught me, you just have to ask questions. What kind of questions? You know, like really basic ones. The ones that a 5th grader can understand. What do you want to accomplish? How will you measure success? What inspired you? Where did this go wrong before? What has worked in the past? How much of a deviation do you want to have when you say, I want a radical new invention? Oh, just 4%. Oh, I get it. Who else is going to be making this decision? Are there other stakeholders involved that aren't in the room? What would they say? None of those are complicated questions. You don't have to have any kind of fancy degree to be able to ask that. But just learning that, maybe just getting the permission that I can ask questions instead of providing answers changed my business. And it can change your relationship with your partner, with your employees, with your manager, with your boss, with your shareholders. What is it that they care about? So we know this, right? We always tell people, be proactive, don't be reactive. So it turns out there's a framework I want to share with you really quickly. Okay. I think I've been given 4 more minutes here, so I like that. Okay, so this is a framework from a book called The Visual MBA, written by Jason Barron. And it's a way for you to listen and to make decisions. But I find that this is a wonderful way to conduct sales, to do interviews, and it's pretty interesting. And I've been doing this intuitively for a really long time. So I was just so happy I discovered it, and I'm going to share it with you, okay? So we look at PROACT, and there's 5 parts to it. The PRO stands for, what is the problem? So notice when there's a question, I want to have a better understanding of the problem before I proceed. What is the problem? And then, what is the objective? Well, we got that almost with one question. The problem is I have low engagement. Well, what would you like to have happen? Well, the goal is for me to grow by 1.5 thousand followers on Instagram. I got a lot of really good information. So now we can look at the problem, because oftentimes people present to you false problems. We want to find out what the real problem is. What's the real challenge for you? And how will you know you're going to succeed? So what is the objective that you're trying to accomplish? And how will you measure success? We get that. And then the A and the C and T stand for what are the alternatives? What else haven't you considered? Because there's many ways to get there. Creative people are beautiful at doing this. They're divergent thinkers. We don't believe there's one solution. We believe there are infinite solutions. Hence the problem, what do I create? So what we want to do is when we're working with people is just to go through what else haven't we considered? From very pricey things to very affordable things. What are the consequences of each alternative? Well, this is time and money. This one's really easy. This is personal, professional embarrassment if it fails. And we can look at all that so we can make better decisions. And lastly, what are the trade-offs? If we say yes to this, what are we saying no to? I know I've taken up a lot of your time, but what I want to do is I want to encourage you this. If you want to be more empathetic, and we know this is what we need to do as a 21st century business, to build meaningful connections with people, whether you're running a marketing campaign or you're trying to build your social media account, you need to know how to ask better questions and to be able to listen. Those two skills are twins of each other. And we've seen this before. People ask great questions, and as soon as the person answers, they don't even listen to the answer. So the question is nullified and made useless because you're not willing to receive new information, to update your processor, and to follow up with a really good piece of information. And I will tell people this. I'm interviewed from time to time on podcasts, and it feels sometimes that people are literally going down a list of questions to ask me. And as a person who is the guest, this makes me feel terrible. So whatever I say means nothing to you because you're more concerned about getting to question 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're more concerned about your schedule and your checklist than you are than listening to me. Is that how you want to build empathy and a deep, meaningful relationship with me? So if you're doing that, just be aware how it feels to be on the other side. Okay, so I have some resources for you, and I've been way over, so thank you for your generosity, everybody. So just a few books here. What's Your Problem? It's an excellent book on reframing, Socratic selling, because we want to be able to ask more questions, especially if we're trying to sell something. The Coaching Habit, I've already mentioned. The Visual MBA, just because I included that. I haven't read the rest of the book. I just opened to that chapter, and that was it. Haven't read anything else. And Marshall Rosenberg's The Nonviolent Communication book. And my friend over here, may I suggest that you check that book out? I'm just saying. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. If you're new here, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what conferences you think I should be speaking at next, and I'll do my best to get to you. See you next time.